Hi guys, it's Silverets again, and what am I going to do this episode? Well, it's a little hard to explain that. It's just loads of random things that I just decided I would do when I opened this park in my new computer, and I was like, okay, now that I can do this, let's just go ahead and fix some things that I thought were kind of wrong with this park. And something to start with would be the terrain texturing, because I didn't really use the checkerboard pattern yet. I did use it at some places. I don't know why and how, but I did it and came up with a stupid texture that didn't really look good. So I just decided to go with the standard combination of asphalt and that nice little grass texture. So that's it for that. And now you can see that I'm getting rocks and all kinds of things for the station over here. And yeah, I've also been working on the station in this episode, just random things, adding little towers and stuff like that, and these trees, because I think this was pretty much the time, though it was a little bit earlier, that I discovered that Station Jim's Gardening 2.5 is basically heaven for any foliage lover, since it's such an amazing set. And I used to never get it because the download didn't work for me for some reason, but now that I've got it, I think my Rollercoaster Tycoon 3 life is never going to be the same. Quite honestly, it's just an amazing set. Just really love the pieces in there. And what also made me attracted to this set very much was the fact that it had pines in it, and we've had loads of pine sets. We've had Old Spice's pines, of course. Old Spice's trees had some pines, and I think that Station Jim's earlier gardening sets also had some pine-ish trees, but there were never really pines, which I felt, okay, these have a nice, really realistic, dark texture and shape that I'd want to use. And Station Jim's Gardening 2.5 does have that, so I decided to go and use that set, and it turned out to be a great choice, so that's really cool. And over here, I'm just trying to add some more details to this building, because at this point, it's kind of just a simple alpine building, but of course, it does have those weird medieval arcs and random things attached to it, but then again, it's not quite as weird and over the top as many of the other buildings in the park, so I just decided that I would kind of mess around and see what I could do with this. And in the end, I just decided to go with some small medieval towers and random alpine thingies. And of course trees, because trees work really well with buildings. Of course, there's the, somewhat common tactic to take, for example, you've built a building, and I don't really like it, and you're like, screw this building, I don't want this building. Then a very easy way to kind of get rid of it without really getting rid of the building, of course, is to place trees around it, kind of block the view of it. But even if you have a good building, some trees around it can really just make it look even better. So that's what I just decided to go for with this alpine station, because I didn't really like it that much, but I just wanted to keep it there and see what it would look like with some trees around it. So that turned out to be pretty cool. And now is the part where I do rock work. And I've actually been very delighted to do rock work again, because Weber's Foliage, it's called Weber's Foliage set, but nobody uses it for the foliage, honestly. It's all about the rocks, no trouble. And yeah, so since I can use that set again, I'm pretty much addicted to Weber's Foliage and Weber's large rocks, so that's why I've been doing that. And then I'm doing so many random things at the moment. Then I looked at the castle and I was like, could use some foliage. So I decided to do that. And I don't know, this is really weird to commentate over, because the way that I played Rollercoaster Tycoon 3 at the time was just like, oh, I'm gonna look at my park and I'm gonna do this. And then a couple of minutes later I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna do this now. And that's basically how I spent a couple of hours of playing Rollercoaster Tycoon 3. A lot of, experimentation, some trial and error stuff. But it came out pretty well. And at this point, I'm also doing something which I've tried to procrastinate because of the rock problems for a very long time, that I'm finally able to do, and it's doing the backside of the inverted coaster. It's after somebody left a comment that he really liked the layout and just the way that it goes through pretty much the entire section of that part of the park. Honestly, it's such a huge layout, and that's when I kind of realized that, yeah, it is huge, since it goes on that mountain over there and just does all kinds of high stuff over there, and then like this is I don't know how to explain it, and then it has that part near the station with the stupid helix over there. Don't know why I really kept that helix in, and then you have the part where you go to the lake, and there's so much diversity in the layout that it's also really fun to theme this right, as long as the sets work though, of course. But yeah, so far I'm actually having loads of fun theming this ride, so that's really cool. I say that too often. Sorry, I won't do that again. Or at least I'll try not to do that again. One thing about the invert that I still kind of need to find a way to fix though, is the fact that the last part, especially this little part around the castle, is probably way too fast. I mean, it's not that fast that it would kill people riding it, but it's pretty unrealistically fast. If unrealistically is even a word, which it probably isn't, but you get what I mean. So yeah, I kind of want to fix that. I kind of want to see if I can change the layout in some way that I can add a brake somewhere and slow it down for just a bit. Though that would mean that I need to add an extra lift hill at the end, but I think that's worth it. It's probably better to keep a good pacing throughout the ride than having a stupid, well, fast coaster, but not having an ugly lift hill at the end. So yeah, that's pretty much my thoughts on that. And that's when I realized I need to finish this part. And honestly, when it comes to this part, of course, I'm doing the supports right now, but I was pretty much doing the supports because I had no idea how to actually theme this little part. There are usually parts where I usually really have a great idea of whether I want to build a forest or whether I want to leave it bare, but with this little part next to the path over there, I just have no clue what I want to do with that. So I'm still leaving that bare up until this moment, and even though I've worked on so many things throughout the park, I still haven't really tackled that little spot over there. I don't know if that's a great idea, but yeah, I'm kind of procrastinating that for the moment. And that's why I tried adding something in the middle of the helix, but I just couldn't find anything. And of course there's that giant tree, but that's way too big. It's gonna dwarf all of the buildings, and I don't quite want that. One of the things that make these buildings look nice is the fact that they're just about the same height as the trees are, and you don't want your trees dwarfing your buildings, at least as long as you don't want small buildings. Of course you can place large trees if you have such small buildings that it doesn't really matter either way, or you're planning to do it. Oh, and there was a time skip over there because I decided to remove the spire on top of the hill over there and place the Silverette alpine alpine something. I don't even know this. I don't even know the name of my own set anymore. What is it? Okay, I forgot. But I decided to place the spire over there. So that is that. And though I had to kind of get used to it in the beginning, I feel like it does look better right now. I don't know why. It also looks more alpine-ish in a sense. And that's why I started working on, oh god, am I going to pronounce it again? No. On the free fly coasters layout, well, scenery. Yeah. And more specifically, foliage. Because I just wanted to add a heap load of foliage to this little ride and see what it would look like then. Of course, it does kind of take away the kind of village theme that I had going. That is of course related to Attack on Titan and the 3D maneuver gear and all that. But then again, foliage is always a very nice little detail, and I just decided to go for it. And I think I'm gonna keep it. Looks pretty cool. And yeah, as you can see, loads of bushes, loads of flowers at some point. I started adding many flowers at some point and just couldn't stop doing that because I love it sometimes. And in the end, I think it does make the ride a lot better. At first I was thinking about maybe just placing small shrubs and stuff like that on the rocks because I didn't want to cover the rocks altogether. But now I feel like it might actually be nicer to just cover the rocks. But anyway, that's this episode, so thank you for watching and see you on the next one. Bye.